So are you drowning in debt? Is your savings stagnant? Or are you just worried about the student loan repayments that you have to start doing in just a couple of months? Well, if you are, definitely stick around for this video where we're going to be talking about how to get from your debt to your dreams. 7 simple steps to unlocking financial freedom. Hi, my name is Camilla, also known as the Focus Spender, and welcome to my channel where I teach you how to get out of debt, save more money, and invest so that you can build wealth and leave a lasting legacy. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about financial freedom. And before we go into the steps to unlocking financial freedom, I want to make sure that you understand what financial freedom really means. So I don't mean that you just have large sums of money or that you have a high salary. I mean that you are living your life on your own terms financially. Money is no longer a barrier to anything that you're able to do. You have enough money to pay for your life and support your family, and you're able to achieve your goals. So you're going to be thinking about your life holistically when you're thinking of financial freedom. So the first step in unlocking your financial freedom is to assess your current financial situation. You want to think about what your spending habits are and the things that are holding you back. You want to make sure that you're calculating your debt and you know exactly how much you have in savings. You also need to know, do you have enough money invested for retirement? And do you even know how to calculate or what that amount of money is? So when I was repaying my $65,000 worth of student loan debt, I had to sit down and gather up all of my numbers. I had to understand how much was owed. I had to understand what I was actually bringing in and how much money I had left to pay extra on my student loan. So you want to sit down and do that assessment first, as opposed to just starting to try and pay extra on your bills without understanding the full ramifications. So step 2 is to create a solid financial plan. You now need to sit down and write down your short-term goals and your long-term goals. So let's say you have a lot of credit card debt. Maybe your short-term goal is to pay off your smallest bill. And your long-term goal is to pay off all of your credit cards within the next 5 years. So you want to make sure you have that on paper, because that is going to be the building block for your budget. It'll allow you to understand where you need to spend less so that you have more money to save and invest or pay off debt. Step 3 is to build multiple streams of income. So what really helped me was to get side hustles. I was tutoring, I was working at conferences, I was doing anything legal that allowed me to make more money. So at this point, you're going to want to make sure that you have figured out how you're going to bring in extra cash. If you don't have time for a side hustle or a part-time job, that's fine. But now it's up to you to go to your employer and see how you can make more money. What can you do to get a raise? Or maybe it's time to look for a new job. So one of the things that really helped when I was paying off my student loan debt was to get better paying jobs. So the salary that I started out with, it was a struggle. Even just paying the minimum, I barely had enough money left over. And so what I ended up doing was I reduced how much I was saving towards my retirement so that I could have a little bit more breathing room in my budget. And other creative ways to bring home extra money is to make sure that any money that you have in your savings account is in a high yield savings account. Because of everything that's been going on with inflation, there's so many online banks or smaller banks besides the bigs like Bank of America or Chase that are offering insane amounts of interest. I mean, 4.5%, 5%. If you go to a company like M1 Finance, they're actually offering 5% on their high yield savings account. Step 4 is to get a handle of your debt. So like I mentioned in step 1, when you're just trying to understand how much debt you have, you now want to sit down on paper using a debt tracker, and I'm going to link one of mine below, and sit down and write down how much debt you have. So you're going to list out all of your debt individually. You're going to list out the interest rate on all your debt, the minimum payments, and now you're going to decide how you're going to tackle that debt. Are you going to do the debt snowball method where you're paying off your debt from smallest to largest, or are you going to do the debt avalanche method, which allows you to pay off your debt from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate so that you're saving the maximum amount of money? My suggestion is that you can start off with the debt snowball method just so you can get a little bit of momentum. But if you have a lot of high interest debt, that is where you want to focus, because that is going to cost you the most money in the long run. Step 5 is to build smart saving and investing habits. So once you've paid off your debt, or even while you're paying off your debt, you can start saving and investing some of your money, as long as you're focusing first on that high interest debt. So now you're going to want to make sure that you're saving for an emergency, because guess what? times will not always stay the same. Right now, we are in a pretty strong economy, but there are so many whispers of a recession that you want to make sure that you're saving for emergency, because what if you lose your job? What are you going to do at that point? So at minimum, you're going to want to calculate your monthly expenses, multiply that by 3, and make sure that you're putting that amount of money in an emergency fund. If you're feeling really good, you can bump that up to 6 months. And besides savings, you're going to want to make sure that you're investing. Many people suggest 15%. Many people suggest the maximum in various accounts like your 401k or your Roth IRA or traditional IRA, but you're going to want to make sure that you're doing what makes the most sense for you right now. I was watching a TikTok video and this girl was complaining about watching YouTubers talk about how they need to maximize their 401k. I'm hoping she's not talking about me, but when she did it, she had no more money to pay for her bills. So you're going to want to make sure that you understand how much money you actually can afford to invest and still have money to live off of. So step 6 is nurturing a mindset of financial freedom. This is a big one. So when I started my student loan debt payoff journey, I honestly wasn't convinced I could do it. Like, I would read articles and they're like, okay, you should pay off extra, like make some double payments and that's going to help in the long run. But I didn't have a plan written down, and so it did not feel like it was going anywhere. It was just pretty much haphazard, and I really just thought at some point, well, you know what? This is the plan that was laid out for me. This is just how I have to pay off the loan. But when I started to read a lot more financial literature and I understood that if I just mapped out my plan and followed that plan, I could actually do it, then a whole world opened up to me. I really started looking at other people as motivation, and I thought, as opposed to being like, oh, it must be nice they were able to pay off their bills, I thought, oh, if they can do it, I definitely can do it. All it takes is some discipline and a lot of planning. So you have to come into the whole financial freedom movement thinking and believing, like really and truly believing that you are capable of doing it, because guess what? You are capable of doing it. So you want to make sure you have that mindset at all times. And step 7 is to maintain strategies for long-term financial freedom. It's not good enough to just pay off your debt and move on from smart money habits, because you can end up right back in debt, or you could have no debt but you also have no savings or investments. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you're continuously reading up on personal finance, you're continuously monitoring and reviewing your strategies to see what's working, what's not working, where you need to tweak. So there's a lot of long-term work to make sure that you are maintaining smart money habits. So as we wrap up, I wanna make sure that you understand that financial freedom is possible. I am living proof that it can be done. So remember, you're going to assess your financial situation, set clear goals, diversify your income, manage your debt, save and invest, and cultivate a mindset of abundance and never abandon your money saving strategies. I would love for you to join me on this journey for financial freedom. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video. And like I said earlier, I do have a debt tracker in my description box below that you can have for free. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks. Bye-bye.